What's going on, guys? This is Trent bringing you another Final Fantasy walkthrough video. And today we are bringing the dungeon Sastasha. So I'm going to queue into that, and then once it queues, or once the dungeon pops up, I will see you guys at that point. Alright guys, the dungeon popped, so I'm gonna click commence and then we'll head in there. Alright, so we're gonna get a bunch of these pop-ups. They're just saying clearing instances and oh. And then it's also telling us about doing the limit break for the most part as a range DPS and a magic DPS. You're not going to do the limit break. Alright, so you're going to come up here, read this note, see what color it is, and then you'll tell the party. But these are new people as well, so they probably went up there to read it as well. But for the most part, if you get people that are just running the dungeon, then they're just gonna run through all these enemies, and one person will hang back and just read the note. Alright. And then most of the time when you run through this dungeon, you're not going to explore the full dungeon. A lot of people don't do that. But really the only thing is that the full dungeon is just looking at some cages where people were placed after they got kidnapped. And we did get to level 19, but our level synced down. So that's what that pop-up was, a level sync thing, telling us that the dungeon that we joined, it was going to be synced down. And then for these, you want to kill the giant clams first, otherwise the shade seekers keep coming back. See, those guys came back even though we killed the clam fast, because he shut his mouth first. The shade seekers were able to come back. Excuse me. But most of this dungeon is just basic. Just getting the enemy's health down and then going through the dungeon to get to the final boss. There's not too many mechanics to worry about or anything like that. The hardest thing to worry about on this is picking the right color. After that, it's pretty simple. Don't. And they're gonna pick the green one. If you pick the wrong one, enemies spawn up. And you just deal with them how you've been dealing with all the other enemies. So then you hit this switch, and this guy will appear. And he's like a boss, in a way. The only thing you really have to worry about is don't stand too close to him. Other than that, he's not too difficult to deal with. The healer can keep up with his attacks, and we just DPS him down. Then you get the treasure chest, and this you can pick if you need or greed it. Need means you need it. Greed means that you're trying to get it. It goes off of what class you have. I am going to greed this because I am planning on trying to get all the other classes, and I did not get it. And then after this, it's just a short walk to the next boss. We just go through a couple of enemies, and then the next boss will be right over there. So that's the boss, is the captain. The best thing to do is to worry about the people with him first, and then after that, then you attack the boss. For this dungeon. For other dungeons, a lot of times you don't worry about that. But for this case right here, you worry about them, and then you attack the boss. And open this up. The pugilist is probably going to roll need on that, so yeah. And then in this area right here, there are cages that people never, well, not never, hardly go to. So a lot of times, a lot of people don't get the cleared Sastasha's map because they don't go to all the different cages and walk around. So they dropped the captain's quarter key, so you need to pick that up in order to go into here. Oops. Sorry. Typically you should not pull the ads unless you are the tank. So the doors are open and we're going to be fighting this guy. And the only thing to worry about is the overpower move he does. It's an area effect move. Other than that, he's not really that strong. And then he dropped another key, and we're going to use that key to go into the doors over here. So we're going to go into this gate right here. And then we have another battle with the captain. The best place to pull them would be over there by these gates. This would be the best place to pull them. But I don't know if the tank knows it or not. So we will see. Oh, I'm pulling aggro from the tank. So the best thing to do if you are able to pull aggro away from the tank, so if you're able to pull an ad away from the tank, is to go by the tank. Don't expect the tank to come and take care of it. Go by the tank, and the tank will be able to hit the tank will be able to get that away from you. I'm not getting anything. And a lot of times, most people do not pull this whole room. They'll just stay on the left-hand side, pull all the enemies that need to be pulled, and just call it a day. So these are really the only enemies that need to be pulled, plus the ones over there. Other than that, you don't really need to pull any more in this room. And so that's probably what this party's gonna do. Alright, and then once we finish off this enemy, this is the final boss area right here. So a lot of times what parties do is they just burn down his 8 HP, but other parties will do the mechanics properly, and what they are is if once you see unnatural ripples, you go over there and you stop them from happening. But I think we're just going to burn his HP down. Yeah. I did all this without my carbuncle, so that's nice. Forgot about the carbuncle. Alright, and you can do a player commendation. Who you think did the best job here. For the most part, I give it to either the tank or healer. I have given it to the DPS before, but it's very rare I give it to a DPS unless they do something really impressive. So now we're going to go back to the drowning winch. So I'm going to return back. Oops. And then we're going to teleport to the aft castle. Alright, so then this next quest, we're going to be going to Gridania to find out what they need. But this is going to be the end of this video. The next video, we're going to go to Gridania, and then we're also going to get our level 20 class quest done. And I think we should be able to get our second dungeon unlocked in the next video. So hopefully we are able to get all that in the next done in the next video. If you like this video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel to get notified when I put videos down, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions. As always, take care.